And I know Soulja Boy because we had a song. I hear Soulja Boy verse come on, it's like, yeah, then. See, I know that flow so well because it's my own.
The Joker, aka Joker Too Cold, March 8th, 1983, Kosciuszko, Mississippi. In the late 2000s, early 2010s, the internet really began to blow up, and social media sites like MySpace gave rap a different look from it was used to. It, for the first time, really allowed anyone that were savvy and consistent enough to use it to their advantage and be seen. It was also a time hip-hop was coming off its crunk and snap era / punchline era, led by Lil Wayne, who had the game in a choke in those days when everyone was infatuated with his ability to freestyle and use punchlines out of this world on every bar. All that mixed together and swag rap was created, and also the clout era began, where it seemed a race on the internet to use social media in competition for who could get the most followers and likes. The internet rapper was born, and some notable names at the time was Soulja Boy, of course, New Boys, Cali Swag District, Tyga, Krayshawn, and more. One artist that came up around that time and many had high hopes for was an artist from Mississippi / Atlanta called The Joker. You may have heard of him, and yes, his name has to be one of the most generic in history, while also being unfitting to his demeanor and personality. But at the time, it worked, and he gained notoriety fast in the swag rap era for his nursery rhyme, punchline on every bar style, made popular by his We Do It For Fun freestyles. Looking back at it now, paints a clear picture not only of why he never really made it as a rapper, but also why the swag era was probably the worst era in hip-hop history. Say what you want about the SoundCloud era or the drill rap era, mumble rap, whatever, but the swag rap was nasty, nasty work and was over in about 3 years after becoming popular. Literally no swag rapper was relevant 5 years later, and certainly not today. I give Soulja Boy a pass because he was a little before the swag rap era, but naturally added to it because he just may have inspired the whole thing. Many swag rappers grew up fans of Soulja Boy, and he's the one that made MySpace and social media hot, to his credit. Credit to him for still being somewhat relevant in the game 15 years later, even if it's for his antics mostly. The Joker knows all about this because for him, Soulja Boy was his biggest fan, who he and his fans would tell you ran with his whole swag, so to speak, word for word, bar for bar. Didn't matter much at the time because Joker was seen and courted by labels as the more marketable Soulja Boy at the time. Even Future and 2 Chainz realized his star early on in collaborations with the young rapper. But then these things happen, and while Soulja Boy continued to ascend, the Joker disappeared altogether and never got on like many expected. What happened? Salute to Cam_Drew34 on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. The Joker is a rapper from Mississippi that gained a lot of notoriety early 2010s that has been rapping since 14 years old. At 16, he dropped out of high school to focus on music, and things were going well. He had songs with Soulja Boy, also from Mississippi, and one of the hottest swag rappers at the time, Future, who he collaborated with on his single Blow It All in 2011, when not many knew the future Future would have. He made songs with 2 Chainz and many more as his name began to buzz around his adopted state, Atlanta. Yes, listening to it now, it sounds weird and hard to understand why anyone liked it, but at the time, Joker's slow, elementary punchline, somewhat corny flow was appealing to many. He was on schedule to sign a major label deal and really get his music career off the ground before these things happened that stunted his growth. Stunt number 1, untimely incarceration.
I got locked up about 6-7 months ago. You know what I'm saying? I had a little situation involving a gun and other things, you know.
The thing about rap music that makes it a dangerous maze to figure out is its attachment to the streets. It's what makes it popular and protected at the same time, and also gives it a cool and boisterous side, but it continuously leaves rappers vulnerable to one of 3 things: death, jail, or success. Once a rapper reaches success at a certain level, they can afford to remain out the way of violence, along with the fact they become an investment to people with a lot of power and money, adding another layer of protection. But beyond or other than that, a rapper just trying to get to that point has to be aware of the possibility of the other two, knowing that without explanation, they both can snatch your future away in the small window you have to make one the way you want it to be. The Joker was tailor-made for the swag rap era and really none other. His flow, his sound, his appearance, personality, all that was ideal for the early 2010s era that wasn't going to last very long. A few months after his We Do It For Fun series became popular, Joker announced that labels have been calling him and that he was about to do a major deal soon, to many surprise and hype to see him finally on the level of a Soulja Boy and the rest of his peers. Then he gets locked up for an illegal firearm and sent to jail for the next 7 months. After he returned home, he noticed, as he claimed, Soulja Boy had stolen his entire swag and started to blow up even more off it. So he says, but really, all artists are inspired by other artists, and like I say for Lil Wayne and Gilly the Kid, it ain't stolen if he's done it way better than you for years after you both had a relationship. He began to diss Soulja Boy and challenge him, but to no response, as Soulja Boy was touring and blowing up doing his thing, while after jail, Joker never really got back to the same light he was in before. The window was closing and he'd been gone so long he didn't know how to pry it back open. He made a song with 2 Chainz, one with Future, and still couldn't regain his position. And then, stunt number 2, the swag rap era was over. If you're ever confused about the reign of swag rap, look no further than Cali Swag District's run from 2010 to 2012-13, but really 2010-11. Like mentioned, it was a quick jolt of energy in hip-hop, seemingly longer than it was looking back, and in hindsight that may have been a good thing, because no real good music came from that time in rap really. To dance and have fun with your friends too, yes, while Teach Me How to Dougie could come on today and I'd still hit my little 1-2, don't get it twisted. But the Joker, he simply missed that window as well. The era ended before he could really put his work down due to missing 7 months from the game, which in the existence of swag rap is an eternity, as you can see. By 2013, rap began to get rid of the jerk, swag era, and artists like Kanye West and Jay-Z were being talked about again, as Ye was arguably the leading rapper at the time. Lil Wayne, J. Cole, ASAP, Big Sean, Kendrick, and of course Drake were entering their would-be legendary runs. No one was really swagging too much any longer. Maybe if the Joker did get a foot in the door, things would be different, but that wasn't the case. The era ended and was replaced by a newer one, and many would like to forget they were even a part of it. Joker began to disappear more and more, as now it became about making a successful tape or album, and that's something he didn't have on a major level. Sure, for live mixtapes and Dat Piff he was heavily promoted, but by then those sites no longer dictated popularity, as Instagram and other social media sites became the only promotion new artists needed. Not to mention the boom of the SoundCloud era and SoundCloud rappers being picked up for their songs on there going viral. Stunt number 3, couldn't make a hit song. All the punchlines fit into one verse is cool and all and great for promotional purposes, but at some point it came down to, can the Joker make a hit song? For the clubs, radio, internet, or whatever, the answer was no, not really. Joker's flow is almost like a battle rapper in that they sound good when everyone is focused on the words they're saying, waiting for the punchline so they can ooh and ah, and they play into that by having witty things to end their bars with, and that was the attraction to an artist like Joker. But when it came down to making that flow attractive in song format that the everyday listener can jam to on the way to work, they didn't perform well in that arena. Joker's nursery rhyme flow, elementary punchlines like habitual smoker, I burn so many trees I have splinters in my toaster, was not going to hit on structured songs, and also there were artists that were doing that style much better, so there really was no need for the Joker. But because he couldn't make a hot song, it placed him in a space time worked against him once again. All in all, the Joker, for those who remembered him, enjoyed him for his punchlines and personality on YouTube and places like MySpace when his potential was really shining because of the era he fit perfectly in. But when it was over, Joker disappeared also and never got that chance again for these reasons. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC Stunt Growth Music, and I'm out.